This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
OPEC Plus is nearing an agreement to delay an oil output increase scheduled to start in October after oil prices hit their lowest in 9 months, two sources from the producer group told Reuters on Thursday. The move comes as oil prices have been falling together with other asset classes on concerns about a weak global economy and particularly soft data from China, the world's biggest oil importer. It is likely that the countries will take action to balance the market by delaying the increase, one the sources said. The second source said OPEC Plus was almost there on getting an agreement.
Oil firmed on Thursday, edging up from multi-month lows on a possible delay to output increases by OPEC Plus producers and a decline in U.S. inventories, though the gains were capped by persistent demand concerns. Figures from the American Petroleum Institute, API, showed U.S. crude oil inventories fell by 7.431 million barrels last week, far exceeding the 1 million barrel draw expected by analysts in a Reuters poll. There is a pause of breath and light reprieve for oil prices, said PVM analyst John Evans, citing the API report's findings.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
U.S. oil and gas producers' appetite for deal-making is closing in on last year's record, with rising interest in smaller oil fields offsetting slower activity in the top oil-producing Permian Basin, analysts at consultancy firm Rystad said on Wednesday. Nearly $100 billion has been spent by U.S. producers on mergers and acquisitions so far this year, and another $46 billion in assets are currently for sale, according to a Rystad analysis through late August. A record $155 billion worth of production and exploration-focused deals were signed in 2023, according to Rystad's tally.
U.S. crude oil and fuel inventories fell last week, according to market sources citing American Petroleum Institute figures on Wednesday. The API figures showed crude stocks fell by 7.431 million barrels in the week ended August 30th, the sources said, speaking on condition of anonymity. Gasoline inventories fell by 336,000 barrels, and distillates fell by 406,000 barrels, they said. 9 analysts polled by Reuters estimated, on average, a much smaller crude oil stock draw of about 1 million barrels. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. Prices of most nonferrous metals dropped on Thursday, pressured by a dim demand outlook after recent weak economic data globally, including in top consumer China. 3-month aluminium on the London Metal Exchange was down 0.8% at $2,378.50 a metric ton, as of 08:05 GMT. Nickel dropped nearly 1% to $16,065. Zinc fell 1.8% to $2,745, while copper edged 0.4% higher to $8,993 on bargain hunting after prices fell to a 3-week low in the previous session. LME lead slipped 0.7% to $2,005 a ton and tin declined 1% to $30,190.
Copper prices firmed up on Thursday after China announced major investments in building power networks in Africa, but upside in the metal was limited by technical weakness. The most traded 3-month copper contract on the London Metal Exchange was up 0.8% at $9,034 a metric ton during official rings, bucking the declines across the rest of the metals complex. China on Thursday pledged nearly $51 billion in funding for Africa, with a focus on improving power networks with shortcomings that have delayed industrialization in the resource-rich continent.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
Ukrainian farmers could increase the winter wheat sowing area for the 2025 harvest to more than 5 million hectares, from 4.7 million hectares in 2024, to compensate for a decline in the winter rapeseed area, an industry source said on Thursday. The source said the area under rapeseed could fall by 500,000 hectares because of continuing drought across most of the country. Record high temperatures and a lack of rain almost throughout Ukraine in recent months have created unfavorable conditions for sowing winter crops, particularly rapeseed. That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.